Proverbs 8:22 through 31, the wisdom of God. Throughout the first 9 chapters of Proverbs, Solomon personified wisdom as a woman. Personification gives human characteristics to an abstract idea. For example, the phrase, Lady Justice is blind, personifies justice as someone who does not look at appearances, thus highlighting the ideal of objectivity in the justice system. Solomon presented wisdom as a woman for at least 2 reasons. First, wisdom is a feminine noun in Hebrew, and so the personification takes on the gender of the word. Second, Solomon appealed to his son to embrace the wisdom of Proverbs. And what would be more appealing to a young man than an alluring woman? However, there are several indications that Solomon's personification of wisdom was more than merely a literary device. In Proverbs 8:22 through 31, Solomon heightened wisdom's status beyond his own knowledge or understanding. All true wisdom, he taught, is God's wisdom. Wisdom comes from God and accompanies him in all his works. The New Testament further reveals that Jesus is the wisdom of God. Consider the following facts. First, Solomon describes wisdom as the first thing brought forth from God. Revelation 3:14 alludes to this exact phrasing in Proverbs 8:22 and applies it to Jesus. This statement does not mean that Jesus was created, but rather that he is supreme over the creation. After all, he is God's one and only Son. He is the wisdom of God. Second, wisdom existed prior to the creation of the world. The New Testament discloses the same thing about Jesus. The night of his betrayal, Jesus prayed, "And now, Father, glorify me in your presence with the glory I had with you before the world began." Jesus existed before the creation. He is the wisdom of God. Finally, Proverbs 8 says that not only did wisdom exist prior to the creation, but wisdom seems to have assisted in creating the world. The New Testament said the same thing about Jesus. Colossians 1:15 through 16 says, "The Son is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation, for in him all things were created." Like a firstborn son in the biblical world, Jesus had certain rights over creation, since Jesus is the wisdom of God who assisted him in creating the world.